You didn't come here for some marketing tip or some, simple sales strategy or just to build something. You came here for a different phase of life, a reinvention. So make this moment, this day here, something I'm gonna show up differently. I'm gonna be myself again. I'm gonna be in a better place again. I'm gonna realign myself. This is a new phase for me, one that I am controlling, but I am also tapping into the calling. It's a very different phase, and I want it for every single one of you. The difference is every single day you have to show up and you have to earn this gift. There's these 3 big phases of change. If you ever heard me teach, this is called phase 3. And these big phases of change are where we have been. It's where we're also hopefully going. But what happens in a time of chaos and uncertainty, people's mindset and their lives get trapped in what I call phase 1. Phase 1 is when things are chaotic, we desperately search for survival and security. That's where we just want to know what the world's about. And we mentally, please listen, we go into lockdown mentally. We're like, ooh, it's scary. Lockdown, protection mode. Phase 1 is protection and survival mode. It happens every time. When there's a big chaotic shift, weird human stuff emerges as we go into protection, lockdown, and security mode. I'll give you an example. The run on toilet paper. The run on toilet paper is going, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. What do I know I need? Household staples, toilet paper. I missed the correlation there. Someone maybe, maybe I didn't read the science close enough. But it's what we do. We seek out staples. We seek out protection. We seek out what we know. I'm at the store. What should I buy? I don't know. Toilet paper. It's this weird thing that we do. We get our arms up and we get guarded. We're scared. Did you ever see, I went to the San Diego Zoo one day on a day that they were putting in this new tiger that they had gotten. And it was crazy. And I'm sure you can get the metaphor off the bat. When you take a wild animal and you put them in a cage, and it's new to them, it's chaos to them, they don't understand, they feel constrained. At first, when they get in there, they go around that cage real fast. They're looking for they're like, what is this about? Their eyes are wild, right? If you take that same human condition, it's like we go in there and we'll go at the bars and we'll shake those bars. You put a prisoner in there, they're gonna shake that bar in that first 72 hours. They're gonna shake that bar. They want to see how that thing slides. They're going to shake that bar. Like you want to break out. I want out. I like this. You're frustrated, you're angry, you're scared. But after a couple of days, after a couple of weeks, now they know they can't, but they're watching. And they're angry. And they're trapped. A little more time goes on, and now they're dispirited because they tried. And they see no one cares. And then one day you go back and they're back in the corner and they're looking. And you can tell they're simultaneously mad and miserable. They're defeated, they gave up. If it's a human, there's resentment and bitterness in the eye. The worst thing is when we get into survival mode like that, we think we're the only ones in the cage. And so that's where I became suicidal. Angry, hurt, defeated, giving up, bitter, thinking I'm the only one. Because when you think you're the only one, you do the one thing that prevents you from getting out of it. Raising your hand, asking for help, giving voice. And so you stay stuck, and that's what happens to a lot of people in suicide. They don't believe anyone cares, or they don't believe anyone can help. They believe they're helpless, That's what happens. Thank you. And so they're stuck. And it's hard because they know they got to go and reach out, but they've tried to reach out before and they didn't think anyone saw. And so what happens, the sad thing is when we're in phase 1, we really believe we're the only ones going through it, and it prevents action. As soon as you think you're the only one going through it, you're almost paralyzed. You feel caged, you feel trapped. You feel trapped in your marriage, even though you know 5 friends who got divorced and they're happy. You feel trapped in the job, even though you've quit other jobs before. You feel trapped in your company, even though you know you can fire and hire. But you tell yourself, I'm alone in this. And soon as you tell yourself you're alone in this, your actions plummet. It's actually the weird inverse of what you think would happen with the billionaire mindset. As soon as they feel alone, no one can understand me because no one's achieved this. As soon as you think no one can understand you, you're in a weird ego zone. You're in a very strange ego place. Because you know how many people I've had to tell, families, you're not the only one who's lost a child? Which sounds so flippant, but you have to say it. You're not the only one who's been divorced, abused as a child, beaten up, abandoned, taken advantage of, robbed, mugged, stolen from, mistreated. You're not the only one, because if you think you're the only one, you're missing the 7 billion, 8 billion people alive. And there's millions of you going through it. But if you think you're the only one, there's a particular kind of misery. And in that misery, you won't ask for help and you won't connect. And that's the thing you have to do. When you are struggling with chaos and uncertainty, you have to find, how did other people find their way? You can't see the exit, but they found it. They're on the outside. This is why you need mentorship, perspective, masterminds, groups, therapists, coaches, whatever. Like, you just can't see it anymore. You've been stuck in it so long, you can't see the very exit that millions of people have found. So if you're ever there, all I want to do, I want to encourage you, get back up and rattle this thing, go, hey, who knows how to deal with this stuff? You got to give voice and you got to rattle the thing. It's important. Do you know how many people come to church every single Sunday and they're in the house of the Lord? They have pastor, they have community leaders, and they never ask for help. And then 8 months later, they tell the pastor, oh, yeah, I've been dealing with this health issue. And the pastor's like, how come you haven't told anyone in the church? Well, because they thought they were alone. It's our actual job. Our actual job is getting people to speak up and ask for help more. That's your actual job as you raise kids. Not to tell them what to do, encourage them to give voice, ask for help. My sister told the story about my dad after he died. I didn't know. She was at a house party that was getting busted by the cops. She hid in a bathroom in the tub behind a thing. Now, my dad had been military and highway patrol and everything. He's like, is there a window in there? And he gets my sister to go out the window and meet in the alley, and he drove and picked her up and took her away. I had no idea. My dad does not, he was a military man. He doesn't break rules like that or run from cops. The next morning, she tells me, he came in and sat in the bed after she sobered up. Now think of all the things you want to say right now to this child who made you go do that. And I know there's a lot of different ways to act, but he goes, if you ever need anything or you ever need to talk about anything, I'm here. And he walked out. Sometimes we preach and we just have to let him know, you can ask me. If you're stuck in phase 1, ask, raise your hand. And realize maybe this wasn't for you, but maybe your team, maybe someone you know. Second phase is a lot easier to cover because most people are there. Once you go from chaos and discord and maybe you've been through life, most people, they're born into and they live into phase 2, which is really dealing with change in more of a comfortable place. Phase 2 is comfortable. Phase 2 is, okay, I kind of figured out how to deal with these things. You got some competency, some courage, you got the house, you got the achievement, you got a bank account. Like, it's more comfortable. Chaos, it's still scary, but you have that self-will through it. Like, I can handle this. Phase 2 is in chaos. We do seek comforts, but we still have healthy habits. right? We're still going. And I don't want to belabor the point about it, but sometimes, like I talked about today, phase 2, that comfort level of change, sometimes you also have to rattle that because you can be comfortable and you can be caged. You know what I'm saying? Like you're topped out, you're going through the motions as we talked about. So just if you feel comfortable and you can kind of guide change, you're part of change, and you're willing to engage with change. I just want to understand that phase 2 is going, oh, wait a minute. Sometimes I got to shake things up for aliveness, connection, and meaning. I got to grow again, right? What happened was we got a little sense of that in 2021. It's like, oh, we're back. Okay, I'm good with change. I'm excited to be out again. And 21 was kind of happy, but then people realized again it was really hard, and they dropped back into phase 1. So you all saw that ping in the market? It was like, why didn't that stay? It's because they were out there and they realized actually they didn't know what to do still. Isn't that funny? Sometimes when you don't know what to do, even if you're pushing and you're challenging yourself, but you're not quite in alignment with aliveness, meaning, and connection, you're actually no better off, even if you're more comfortable. I think phase 3 is where I hope humanity goes. I hope we go. I hope you go. Phase 3 is like a different level. It's like a high performance level. Phase 3 is now, it's not, phase 2 can have success in it, but phase 3, there's calling. There is a higher spirit, a purpose, an alignment that happens in phase 3 that is not about you. There is service there that is way beyond your comforts or your fears. Your comforts and your fears are no longer really that much in the purview because you're just so busy serving. And each day, because you're serving and you're contributing and you're in alignment with the triangle, what I showed you, aliveness, connection, and meaning, there's a different flow there, right? Phase 3 is you've moved through the chaos because chaos is always going to be there. Now you move through the world very intentional, high energy, in a good place for you. You're in alignment with yourself, with your family, with your values, with your creator. It's just like, it's a different level where now it's not about change anymore. It's about the calling. It's about the gift. It's about the flow. It's about the spirit. It's about being in the zone of service that's so different. Phase 1 and 2, that's fear. That's chaos. That's seeking comforts. That's even success. But in phase 3, it's elevated, it's spirited, it's very different. And you're the only person who can guide yourself there, and you're the only person who can inspire other people there. It's why your work has to land at some point in your life, you adopt what we call the role model mindset. You realize that you are an example, and that when they see you living in truth and in spirit, above and beyond your fears and comforts, because most people, when they start success, they're really just scared. They're worried about scarcity. They need some money. Then it's all about more comforts, more houses, more cars, more joys, more 4-star or 5-star resorts, more adventures. And then they get that, but they're out of alignment with aliveness, connection, and meaning. We get them back in alignment, and now they're like, I'm in a whole different phase of life. Who's ever said it before? It was good. It's like, I'm in a different phase of life. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want you to have. That's the reason we all came together here. It's like, you didn't come here for some marketing tip or some, simple sales strategy or just to build something. You came here for a different phase of life, a reinvention. So make this moment, this day here, something go, I'm gonna show up differently. I'm going to be myself again. I'm going to be in a better place again. I'm going to realign myself. This is a new phase for me, one that I am controlling, but I am also tapping into the calling. It's a very different phase, and I want it for every single one of you. The difference is every single day you have to show up and you have to earn this gift. I'm Brendon Burchard. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. I thank you, Ken. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you for your energy this morning. Thank you, Ken. Thank you. That was awesome yesterday. Thank you all. Jeff, thank you for this. Thanks, everybody.